Okay, this next segment is going to be on restoring an old screw jack, house jack, railroad jack, whatever you like to call them. I just call them a screw jack because that's the simplest term. This one you can see I bought it at an auction. You could buy them, I don't know when they were really invented, but a long time ago, maybe a turn of the century, I don't know. Different brands. Some people like to collect them that say stuff. Actually, this one does say something on it. American Scale Company, Kansas City, Missouri, 1¼ by 8. Let me get a close up of that in case anybody's interested. And so they work just fine. This one actually has almost no rust on it at all, just patina. The screw works smoothly, but I'm going to get a full restoration just because I like to have all mine the same color and the same kind. This one actually works really good. Sometimes you got to really bust these loose, and if you're going to use them again, make sure that these got the full square looking, I think that's called an Acme thread. Make sure that that thread is still good, because it's possible it could have been, if this is sitting in there, it could have been eaten. Like you can see right here, there's a corrosion line. That's probably where the most of the contact was. This one's nothing. It just wipes off, but sometimes it gets completely eaten away. So it really weakens it. And the last thing you want when you're lifting something with these is for it to be weak. So I'm just going to start by unscrewing it all the way. I'll clip off my little auction tag. And then we'll go to the cleaning phase. And just, if anybody hasn't seen these before, there's a whole gamut of different ones, different sizes, different needs. They oftentimes go by the screw size. Like this one says 1¼ by 8. It's an 1¼ shaft, I guess, by 8" that it can lift from where it starts. Some of them start at, whatever that is, 12, 18 inches. 12, 18 inches. So some of them start at that size. This one's got a neat little, if you're going to use that size rod, probably you want a longer rod, right? Because you're going to get more leverage. But it is kind of handy that one's got the little holder built in. Sits right there. It's kind of neat. This one's made by no name. But the size on that one is 1¾ by 10. So, it depends on what size you're starting with. This one here, what does it say? This one's been used quite a bit. You can see the hole here is rounded out a little bit. That one's been really wrenched on. This one is It's got a lot of concrete residue on it. 2¼ by 8, I think. MS and LM Manufacturing Company, something like that. I'll probably have to chip a little bit of that concrete off because that's kind of hard to read. But 2 by 16. So depending on what you're lifting, you can get the size that you need. To me, that's pretty ridiculous. You can, like, if you're going down in a crawl space or something, how would you even fit that under there on a lot of places? So some people go with something like this, which will lift quite a bit. Now this one you can see has a much smaller base, so you're spreading your weight out. If you have mud or any kind of uneven terrain underneath you, that one's just going to sink in, whereas this one's much more spread out. So that's another thing to consider. But an old one works as good as a new one, basically. It's just they can't fall. It's a mechanical lift, so it doesn't have just an O-ring holding you back from yourself and tragedy like a standard jack. So they're kind of classic, and they basically last a lifetime. But for me, these ones are in good condition. They all turn, and the tops all turn separately, which is nice. But I just like to paint them up to make them look nice. It's really not necessary, but let's see how these come out. I'm going to start by just cleaning it up. So I'm going to start cleaning it just with some kerosene, because that's why I got it at the garage sale real cheap. That's why. Just turning it a little bit as I brush. Just acting as a solvent. And the reason I'm cleaning this up is because I'm going to put it in some Evaporust, which is a little bit expensive per gallon, and then all this dirt won't go into my Evaporust. It'll be just cleaning the metal only, not cleaning the part. It takes the rust off. I've had pretty good luck with this stuff. This one used to be red, looks like, from American Scale and Company, Kansas City, Missouri. I don't know that I'm going to go back with the original colors. To me, that doesn't matter. I just like all mine orange. That's just the color I do them. And this top still turns free, so that's good. Wow, too much muscle. Broke that cheap Chinese brush right off. Plan B. Oh, time to do some damage. I'm spending a little extra attention on this just because I might paint the tips of those, which is the original engraving. I might paint the tips of those white just to kind of show it off, because it does have a pretty cool little insignia there. I don't really know which one's a good one or not, but if you got it, you might as well intensify the brand that was on there. It's pretty cool. Probably that company hasn't been around in 50 years. Have to look it up. Alright, I'm just going to give that a quick rinse, and then we're ready for the Evaporust. Yep, it was definitely red. I think the jacket itself looks like that part was black. But we don't care. I don't anyway. Maybe you do. I'm going to just towel these. Oh, I better get the inside too. Good thing about my mini brush. Give it a quick rinse. Alright, now to get rid of all that oily kerosene residue, I'm just going to give it a quick shot of some carbon choke spray. Just something that'll evaporate and leave me with a drier surface so I don't contaminate my Evaporust. Good enough. Now, what I'm going to be dipping it in is Evaporust Super safe rust remover. Water soluble, pH neutral, reusable, biodegradable, non-toxic, non-corrosive, ready to use. Unfortunately, the lid had kind of broken on mine, so hopefully it hasn't gotten washed out by too much water, diluted rather. So I'm gonna dip the parts in there. You get these by the gallon, by the 5 gallon. Obviously it's a better deal if you get a bigger quantity, and then you can dip it all at one time, which is pretty handy on this size jack. Otherwise you might need a taller bucket or a tube or something else to put it in. Alright, so basically it's as simple as this. You don't have to mix it, you don't have to do anything. You just basically, okay, that part, gravity helped me put that one in there. This part I'm going to try to be more gentle with. Basically you put it in there, try to get it fully submerged. 5 gallon bucket's perfect for this size jack. So I'm going to put that in there with whatever's left of my lid and put a bag over it for the next time. I'm probably just going to let that sit a couple days, and then we'll pick up where we left off.